be consistent and be on video. You can do that, you can like crush probably half of your competition.
Learning from your mistakes is the most important thing.
True definition of fear is false evidence appearing real.
To make sure that I become that person.
I could be the start of your doors opening. You can't go wrong.
Simplify it.
It's pivoting.
How to get that number right.
That's my inspiration.
We just kept going.
It's just different.
I really feel like it's a God idea.
Man, you want to buy the right one.
You all really have more money than you think.
The direct to you pay the most.
And to look yourself in the mirror.
And push yourself forward.
You still have the opportunity.
The biggest thing that's going to hold investors back is mindset.
First of all, it's the man. That's like what I'm looking for.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. It's Daniel Umstead, host of the RNG radio show. I'm really excited. This journey has just brought me so many amazing guests. And you know my rule. You know what I got to do. I got to run through the bio first. But folks, continue on with this journey with me because I can't wait to share who I got on the episode today. But first, she is a financial advisor with over 30 years of experience helping individuals and families build secure and meaningful financial futures. As a senior advisor at HFM Investment Advisors, LLC, she specializes in retirement planning and wealth management, guiding clients through complex financial decisions with clarity, discipline, and purpose. She believes financial stability is foundational to dignity, opportunity, and long-term well-being. She is deeply passionate about helping people move from uncertainty and avoidance to confidence and action, shifting the internal narrative from "I hope that I can" to "I know that I will." Can't wait to deep dive further into that. Her work extends beyond numbers. Through her writing, speaking, and client relationships, she helps women in particular understand the emotional side of money, uncover their unique money personality, and take meaningful steps toward financial freedom. She's a recognized advocate for women and has spoken to numerous groups on the unique financial challenges and opportunities women face. She serves on the board of directors for a local Habitat for Humanity and as a trustee for the Inspire Health Foundation, reflecting her commitment to strengthening both individuals and the broader community. She is married to Anthony with 3 stepchildren, Montana, Tyler, and Nina, and is part of a large family affectionately known as the Allen Galaxy. Ladies and gentlemen, who I have on the RNG radio show today is Catherine Allen-Carlozo. Catherine, how are you doing today?
Danielle, I'm doing well. Thank you for the opportunity. It's great to be on here.
Yeah, listen, I can't wait. The bio alone, as far as just shifting the internal narrative, is what I usually speak on. So before we get into that, because that gem will be dropped later, you have a book. Talk to me about this book that you have that folks need to purchase today.
So my book is, and if you want me to hold it up a little, so
sure, yeah.
I don't know if you can see it, but it's called The Money Stories That Shaped Us. It's a book. I think a lot of people, as a financial advisor, they think that I was going to write a book about the difference between a Roth IRA and a traditional IRA. Right. And there's so many books out there about that. And for the years that I've been doing this for a long time. I'm 3 decades in. And I felt through my relationships and my experiences working with my clients, it just became this purpose as I've gotten older, that including my own story, because I had to throw in some humility there by sharing my own self and my own story, but also the stories of other women that I've known, whether they are clients or whether they're not clients, and some of them are single through widowhood or divorce or have never been married. And some of them are married. And as I always say, because I am married to one, I do love men. But it just evolved with this level of passion that I felt like women, the conversation needed to be different when we were speaking to women about their financial health and well-being.
Thank you for that. A woman's picking this up. She's checking it out. I'm going through Amazon because it is on there.
Yes. Yeah.
She picks it out. She purchases the book. She reads it. She's like, now what? what is the lesson or the biggest lesson throughout the book that you want, a woman, no matter the age, to gain from the book?
So why is it important?
Yeah.
And for me, again, what I was learning not only from my own experiences and my life's ups and downs, because I certainly went through that, but it was also through that, it was to be able to help the women, not by being on a pedestal, but knowing that I'm walking the path with them. So a big part of the book is that I want them to understand that money is emotional. It's not just numbers. Because over the years, I've had women think that it's about math. And we talk about, okay, the typical thing, you save money, spend less, invest wisely, right? Like that's, or you have a budget and you put money away for retirement. And yes, it's all that, but there's such an emotional tie to money. Money, in my opinion, from working with so many years of this, is I realized that one, we know statistically that it can be a big, big detriment in a relationship with another significant other, or even with a a parent and an elderly parent, or a person with a teenage daughter, or someone in their 20s. Like it's so tense a lot of times, and we know that they can get divorces because of money. And I also know that it can create physical, not just physical pain, but physical problems or physical health because of the stress of money. So for me, it was understanding that this is what people really need to understand, is that your money story or your money personality stems from your childhood. So you're in a household, whether it's a single parent or two parents, and you're watching them and you're developing your own money personality as a child before you even receive your first paycheck. And so it's about understanding that. And that's where I came up with, here's some money personalities, and I give a quiz in the book to understand what your money personality is. And it also is to let people understand that no matter what your money personality or what your default style is, it's not good or bad. Now, yeah, there are some people that are much better with money than others, but that doesn't mean that that person doesn't have blind spots. So it's understanding that people not only have money personalities or a blend, but there's some that are dominant style. And it's also understanding another piece of this to me, which I felt was very important, is the inner narrative, which is the abundant versus scarcity mindset. So if you want me to clarify that a little bit more.
I had some other questions, but yes, gem number 20, if y'all haven't been listening already. But yes, if you can talk about that inner mindset.
So you could be a saver, which is one of the money personalities, but you could have a scarcity mindset. And a scarcity mindset is, I don't have enough. And then they miss out on opportunities of enjoying life. And an abundant mindset is, I do have enough. I am enough. I have to look at where I've come from and move forward. Where a scarcity mindset is fueled by fear and always thinking that you don't have enough. So that's the difference between the abundant versus scarcity mindset. And believe it or not, when you have an abundant mindset, it actually allows you to give to others and to make yourself a blessing to others. So you can't say, well, I can't give to somebody else because I don't have enough. It's actually the opposite. and you find that you do have enough and that you are a blessing, not to other people, but just, to yourself as well.
No, love that. What are, well, I could say what is one thing, that one can do daily, to shift that scarcity mindset to abundant mindset?
It's a lot of it is, and it's a good question, and there's always like this is not a huge step. Like these are going to be your typical baby steps or just doing um, a little bit at a time. There is that the shift, like what shifting is, but it's a slight shift, right? Like we watch the moon at night, and it doesn't go from one spot to the, as you can see, I'm a space geek, but from one
I
spot to
love
the
it.
other quickly. It's just this slow and steady shift. So on a daily basis, and this is something that it helped me even as I've gotten older, is to do some level of, whether it's meditation, I don't want to get too deep into this, but level of awareness, even if you get up in the morning or somewhere where it's like understanding that what you're grateful for, this is where the abundant mindset comes into, right? Like talking about what you're grateful for, where you are, what you've already accomplished, and to keep that in your mind versus to look at things and say, I can't afford that. It's the question, it's like shifting the way you question or your awareness. I think is the number one tool, is to be aware and to have compassion for yourself. And if you say something like, I can't afford that, it's how can I do something to afford that? If I really want something, how can I do it? Not that I can't. And that's where part of it is with investing, where I said, I hope that I can do, I know that I will. It's just these little things that you can do. And it's for a person who has the avoider money personality, whereas they just feel like if I don't see it, it'll go away, or it just, it's an avoidance. It's opening up that statement, and it's looking at your bank account, or it's looking at your investment account, and it's just doing that small step, which is something where um, someone can really just at least see the visual. And women in particular, in my opinion, are very visual. And also that for someone who's a giver, and there's a lot of women that are givers because we're naturally nurturers and they give, 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 give. But they need to be aware also sometimes to say no. And as I tell my clients, I'm like, throw me under the bus. Tell your kids that, I need this money so that I'm not moving in with you when I'm older because I gave you everything and now I can't retire.
Oh my gosh, this amazing child that I have, we have this green light account, and he's gotten money from relatives and such. And I can't tell you, I think he talks to me more now, because it's like, oh, I got some money. How can I ask dad to get this money? And it'll be McDonald's, nothing like, oh, dad, I want to invest in this, or can we put money aside to this? No, it's for food, fast food, and food.
Right.
Now I have my additional reason to tell him, hey, I don't want you living here with me. So I'm making sure this money is saved so you don't have to live here with me. Thank you so much for that, Catherine. Before we continue further on the podcast, one question, subliminal message here incoming. How can folks, one, purchase the book, and then two, how can they get in contact with you?
You can purchase the book through and I have paperback, I have hard copy, and now I have the ebook. So if people just want to throw it into their Kindle or however they do that, and it's all on Amazon. So you go onto Amazon and you search the money stories that shaped us, and it'll be there to purchase. My email is C Allen-Carlozo, so Callen CARLOZO at H as in Harry, F as in Frank, M as in Mary, HFMadvisors.com.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Catherine. And links, of course, will be in the description, folks.
Yep.
So no need, especially if you are listening and driving. Feel free to click below. The other question that I wanted to ask you, and you kind of touched on it, it's always been a high number, divorce rates and such, or folks going into their second marriage. And usually, because of the divorce, the biggest factor has always been, finance. There's money issues going on. Either somebody's maybe spending too much, either, there's not enough coming in. That reset button that you would tell clients, Catherine, what does that look like, for couples who are listening right now? Maybe it's the husband, the wife, said spouse. What does that reset button look like for those who have those financial struggles and they don't want to have a divorce?
That don't want to have a divorce. So that is, and you hope that someone comes to me with that question, right? Versus coming to me after they got divorced.
Right.
And that's another reason why I wrote this book, because I did have someone say to me, and one of the stories in the book is that this woman and her husband, she was taking care of all the money, and he just had, okay, you take care of that, I'll take care of this, right? And not that he was an avoider, but in a way he was. And what was happening, it was that she was also an avoider in a way, even though she was managing the money, but she was also avoiding the fact that she really wasn't paying attention to what was building in debt. And being the nurturer, did not want to say no to her kids and didn't want to deny them the vacations. They were in sports. If your son is in sports, it's very expensive, right?
It's just
even
surprising.
If it's not sports, my husband plays the drums.
Oh,
and it's a very expensive hobby, very expensive. What she said to me was, I wished years ago we had this conversation before and understood each other's money personalities. So for me, what I try to get them to do is to, one, they need to you have to understand what your money personality is. It's a quick little quiz in my book, and what your strengths and blind spots are too. It's in the book. And it's how to not only understand your money personality, but you need to understand your spouse's money personality. Because if you can understand theirs, it's going to help with that conversation. Instead of the why do you always ... or when the accusatory, you always blah, 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 right? How is that going to be a good conversation about money? It's not. It's help me understand. Because now you understand that person's personality. Now help me understand why you feel this is important, or what you're thinking about, if this is something that you feel is important that we should spend or whatever. But it's really shifting the conversation, and it's having a sit down, because, and I'm speaking from experience, you can have a fight and it's, where is it, like it gets to a point where it explodes.
Right. Yeah.
Whereas if we would sit down or just say, all right, let's just both calm down about this, and let's schedule a time when it's both of us are calmed down. And my one client did this with her husband, she said to him, by the way, she had to come to grips, and she had to say, look, I've been managing all the money, but there's a lot of debt. Husband had no idea because he wasn't paying attention. And they were talking about divorce because there was that level of betrayal, or you were hiding this from me, that sort of thing. And it really wasn't her betraying him or hiding. It was her fear. It was her
Yeah.
own inner fear and her own sense of failure and her avoidance with talking about the money and then coming to grips with, okay, it finally bubbled where I now have to talk to him about it. And you don't want it to get to that point where it bubbles because we know what happens.
Yeah, explosion.
Right.
Full explosion.
So it's such a big part of keeping that level of communication open and that you have to express how you feel, but you have to express it in a calm manner. And it's also with the knowledge and the understanding of where each person's coming from with their relationship with money, because we all have one and it's unique. We all grew up differently. So
Yes.
why someone did something this way versus another way, it stems from that. It's very interesting.
Thank you. Thank you, Catherine. I got a follow-up question to that because uh, I would hope, I think we all would hope that, that one conversation does it. The spouses
Mhm.
get together, they're going through everything. It's like, hey, we solved our debt problem. Yay. There, of course, has to be those continuous conversations.
Yeah.
How often, would you recommend, whether it be a couple or a single person,
Mhm.
to have that visual, re-look at their statement, see what their progress is doing. How often should one do that? And I'm speaking selfishly for myself as well as me and my wife, how often we should do it. So I'm listening.
I feel once a month
Okay.
is appropriate. And some people are now doing it once a week and spending an hour to do that. If you can at least do once a month, you're physically, I don't know about you, but if I don't put something on my calendar,
It's gone.
it doesn't get done. And you literally have to schedule that because you're scheduling everything else. You and
Mhm.
I scheduled this podcast. You're scheduling meeting with or speaking with people on the phone. I'm doing the same. Um, my husband's doing the same. Or you're scheduling things for your children. You have to schedule what I feel is one of the most important conversations. And if it is at least monthly, to sit down with each other and you're going to have that, at least let's go over where we are this month. Was there any, like I do with clients with reviews, right? Is there anything that's changed? Let's review this. If you have a vacation that you want to go on, how are we going to do that? That's something like that is how should we save for this money? Should we just create like this little vacation account, you know, or do we already have the funds to do this? Or, hey, I feel like we need to get, I don't know, a new car. Could be a big decision. You're not going to be on the same page a lot of times. And that happened a lot of times with my clients. They think they're on the same page. They come in and sit down with me. They're in a whole different book. They're not even in the same chapter. And so you need to have that open, honest communication. And yes, there could be a budget that you have to look over. And sometimes one person's better than the others, but a lot of times for me, I'll send a client like a budget Excel spreadsheet and have them really work on it. It's not fun, it's not exciting, but it's to me, if you don't know what money's coming in every month and what money's going out, and that means both people, or if you're single, you need to know that. And you have to be honest with, well, every day I go to Starbucks or I go to Dunkin' Donuts. You got to put that in the budget. And a lot of times people don't do that because it's small,
Yeah.
but it's the
And
little
they
things.
get these rewards because
Yeah.
Duncan will reward you for keep coming. And you're like, oh, this balance.
Yes. Yes. Or my husband's like, well, I think we should get this credit card because we get these extra points. Well, what's the annual fee of that credit card?
There's your
And
points.
then, yeah. And then it's like, okay, does that make sense? Like, is that worth the points that we're getting? So it's that kind of thing of having that conversation and really knowing at least what money is coming in from into the household and what money is going out of the household, and not hiding it, because once you hide it, that's a whole other can of worms that unfortunately that's where the D word comes in.
Gotcha. No, thank you so much for that, Catherine. As we're wrapping up here, because just gems was dropped, I'm going to be listening back and hopefully encouraging my missus to do the same as well with me. But as we're wrapping up here, Catherine, is there anything that you'd like to share with the audience?
For me, it became my mission, my calling, to help women at a level that I can't do capacity wise myself. I can only have so many clients. There's only so many of me. So for this purpose of the book was to be able to share not only my own experience so that maybe they feel, women, and men too, because men need to read the book as well so that they can understand if there's women in their lives. And I don't know about you, but I think most people have women in their lives, whether it's a daughter, a mom, a wife, sister, right?
Yeah.
And it was really, the purpose of this is a conduit for me. It was a way to, how can I get the message out for women to understand that, yeah, there is a net worth. We talk about your net worth all the time, assets versus liabilities. Those are numbers. What's your self-worth? And how is this book going to help you not only with understanding your money personality and your relationship with money, why there's some strengths, why there's some weaknesses, to be honest with yourself, but to also be compassionate and aware. You do not beat yourself up, because there's no right or wrong money personality, but it's to, how can I make myself become the hero of my own money story? And that means, like, this is my story. I have a guide, that would be me or someone else, to help them in that story. Just like every story has everyone has there's a person in the story. You have someone that helps you get through the obstacles. That's what the book is for. And then what do? You have a happy ending, is what we hope. And the happy ending is that you have become aware, you've made steps, you have taken action, because that's one thing to be aware, but to really take action. That's what I want people to buy this book for, because it's one thing to read it, but it's then to take the action of, what do I really need to do to find that true financial freedom for me, which is a different description for everyone. Doesn't mean you have to have millions of dollars. It has nothing to do with that. It just means being able to make financial decisions without having the financial stress about that decision.
Catherine, I'm all mushy inside. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
No, I know, not even I hope. I know that this message will reach millions of folks. So thank you just for sharing that and expressing that, and being, of course, on the RNG radio show. For those that haven't subscribed, be sure to subscribe to the RNG radio show on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. Catherine, I cannot thank you enough for being here, the gems that you drop, and definitely looking forward to having come back on the show.
Daniel, my absolute pleasure, and I truly appreciate this opportunity. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for tuning in to the RNG Radio Show. Be sure to like and subscribe for more episodes and future content. If you'd like to learn more, visit us at danielumstead.com. Stay blessed, my fellow millionaires.